if you're trying to close the gap from having a course outline to having video recordings, this one is for you. Let's get it. All right, friend, we are back. It's good to see you. In the last video of this video series, in case you didn't see it, I walked you through the course outline for my new micro program on how to create a really bomb diggity online program. Pretty cool. So now we're in the position, well, I'm in the position where the hard work starts, which means that I now have to outline and develop the actual lesson content, like the guts of this program. Now, for most of our clients, that means we're developing video scripts, slides, workbooks, really anything that the end user would experience. This is before recording, okay? We're just getting everything prepped so when the client goes in to record, everything's gravy. Now, why is that the saying, everything's gravy? Like, I don't even like gravy. Anywho, okay, so back to you. Now, the easiest way to structure this out, this is like the secret sauce, y'all, because this is where everyone gets tripped up. They're like, okay, I know I need a video on X. How do I put the content together for that video about X in a way that other people are going to get it and also help streamline my thinking process? Because especially if you're an expert and you know a lot, then you really, really struggle to edit and say like, this definitely needs to go in and that definitely doesn't about topic X, right? Like you have so much information, you have so much knowledge, you have so many stories and experiences and things around each tiny little subject inside of your big bucket of what you teach that it can be overwhelming to consider how to condense that into like the true essence of what you're trying to get across. Now, there's lots of different frameworks you can use to do this, but out of all of them that my team uses, like we use a ton. This one is the one that experts tend to glom onto the most and like it helps them get it. So it's only one framework that you need to know to stand heads and shoulders above the rest of the people in your industry who are just brain dumping all this information and content on their students in a way that's not helpful. Okay. So that's enough wind up, isn't it? Let's go for it. So there's 4 parts. Okay, there's 4 parts to this framework for how to create a lesson that gets students results. First, you're going to share why this lesson is so important. Next, you're going to share what is the main concept that they're learning in this lesson. Third, how to get a result, how to take action around this topic, around this lesson. And then 4 is what to do now. So we have why, what, how, now. Say it with me. Why, what, how, now. Maybe you can even use your fingers. Do it one more time. Why, what, how, now. Can you tell I was a kindergarten teacher? And that is the order in which your students will go through the lesson. We start with why because it lets them know why the heck they should listen to this lesson. Like, spoiler alert, y'all. Real talk, my friend. Just because people have bought your program does not mean that they're going to continue to take your program, especially if they log in and they're more confused by what they're seeing than clarified toward their outcome. And most experts know what they know, but they can't teach what they know. This framework will help you look like a wizard if you just do it right. Okay. Why, what, how, now. Now, here's the big trick. And you're super advanced. You're super advanced. So I know you're going to get this. Why, what, how, now? That is the order in which your students are going to go through this lesson. Like if I'm a student in your program, first you tell me why it's important. Then you tell me what I need to know. Then you tell me how to do it. And then you tell me, okay, now Jasmine, go do the thing. But when you are writing this lesson, when you are crafting it at your computer, just like I crafted mine today, you do it in reverse order. So you start with now, what am I going to have them do as a result? Then you go to how are they actually going to get that result? Then you go to what do they need to know? And finally you finish with why is it important? When I always say like, everything in a program, like literally everything in a program is reverse engineered. I mean, the micro, like it's like steps within steps, everything is reverse engineered, and this is exactly the same. Okay. And keep in mind, this program that I'm building, there is a lesson on this, and it's going to go into even so much more depth. So, like, I'm going to tell you very specifically even more things about that. So if you want it, go get it, because by the time this is up, it is available. So go get it and watch this video in there. It will help clarify some things. Now I'm going to walk you through some of the things I did today. So right now it is 6:59 in the morning. I sat down on my computer at 6 and started filming this video at 6:45. So I did what I'm about to show you in 45 minutes. Keep in mind, I've built over 100 programs. We've built, not me, but like our team has built over 1,000 lessons. Like we've written over 1,000 video scripts. I have the reps. You will not go this fast. However, it goes to show you, like, there is no perfectionism here, or this shit will never get done. And I have things in here that I'm still like, I don't know if I'm going to do this or this. And that's okay. Like, you have to let go of this idea of it's all got to be completely outlined and perfect and ready to go before you put it out there. Because if you do that, it will literally never get out there. It will never get out there. So let me show you my imperfection. Hey, let's go. If you'll remember from yesterday, this is my course outline, right? I have my 7 videos. Here they are. And I started with this one because I never start with the welcome video. I always start with the main actual training content in the program, and I circle back to the welcome. And so what I did was I took this and I literally copied and pasted it into a Google Doc because now I need more space, right? I need more space. I want to remember what I put in the outline, but have more space for my messy, messy chicken scratch. Yeah, like this is not clean. This is not pretty. I don't need it to be clean and pretty. I just need it to make sense to me and my team, right? Because I am going to leverage my design team and even my learning experience designer team a little bit. So you'll see here I've got why. Let me bold them for you. What, how, and now. Now, when I came in here to write this, I already had my action steps done. They're already in my outline, right? Got all these action steps. Boom, 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 boom. So I just copied them into the now section. And then I went back to how. And I'm like, okay, actually, no, I'm gonna pause. That's not what I did next. What I did next was I wrote the deliverable, this transformation evaluator. Because typically, if you have some kind of resource or deliverable, breaking that down is the how content. Like the deliverable should align with the how content tightly. Like they should be one. So my how content is slide 12 here. My framework. Yeah. So this framework really is my how content. It's these 3 pillars. Like that's how you create transformational programs, is your content has these 3 things. And if you look at, where's my lesson? There it is. If you look at my deliverable, it's directly tied to those 3 pillars. What I did with this deliverable is I made it almost like a quiz, a way for you to audit any content that you currently have so you can determine, is your gap that it's not actionable? Is your gap that it's not aligned with why? Is your gap that it's not anchored in support? Like what's the biggest gap you have so that you can then identify and address that moving forward? And I did that with just like 3 questions under each pillar using the never, sometimes, often. So it'll be a quiz, right? And they'll circle never, I guess you will circle never, sometimes, or often. There will be a little bit of a scoring mechanism in there. And then I will, like, it'll show you, okay, if you only got 3 points for actionable, but you got 12 points for align with my and 15 points for anchored in support, then like this is your big opportunity for improvement. So I just took this concept and I made it something that they can easily use and so that they know what their definition of done is. Like if I say to you, okay, I want you to create a list of the current assets that you can repurpose, and then I want you to use this transformation evaluator to determine your opportunities for improvement, you're like, oh, I know what done looks like. Okay, here's my list, and I did this, and I can see what my gap is. Boom, done, moving right along. So it keeps them in momentum. It's very meta, but this is how you create actionable content. I'm giving them a clear definition of done. And when I'm writing lessons, I'm starting with that. I'm starting with what are the action steps and what are the deliverables. And then I back it into the how, which in this case is these 3 pillars. Now, in this case, because I'm renovating a program, I had a framework that I can work with. But I am going to update some things here because these are actually, I've learned a lot, and there's something else that goes in the middle. So all that to say, my outline here, I have how content. My what content is where I go to next. It's like, okay, so here's how they apply it, but what do they need to know about making bank with program design? Well, there's another framework that they need to know. And why is it important? It's important to consider this if they want to go from 6-figure to 7-figure mindset. And also because no one will buy anything from you if their first experience with you sucks, like full stop. Like I should say, paid experience sucks. I mean, if their first freaks, if you have decent free content, I feel like that you can get away with free content being decent. But like if someone's paying for your stuff, like they're paying for a good experience at minimum, right? So and in the micro program, I'm going to teach you more about why and how to create a compelling why. I think the easiest way to think about it without overcomplicating it is like, why is this the most important thing they're going to hear all week? Why is this lesson, if they didn't do anything else, like, why is this the most important thing? Why does this deserve their attention? What is listening to this and taking the action from this lesson going to bring to their life? And then the next video, the next lesson, you say, why is this the most important video that they're ever going to watch? Like, you have to really make a case for it because, again, just because someone bought your stuff doesn't mean they're going to take it. It doesn't mean they're going to keep taking it. And while it's their job to do the work, it's our job to make the work easy. And one of the ways you make the work easy is inspire them into action by helping them understand the compelling vision of what's on the other side of doing this work and the pain that they're going to be in by not. So really, really, like, why don't underestimate this. People will often glaze over this and just can like think, okay, well, they bought the program, so like they're going to do the work. And I cannot tell you, like, they freaking won't. Like, these are people. These are people with a login in their inbox. It's highly unlikely that all, like, the majority of them are going to log in and actually do this work, and especially they're not going to continue to do it if you don't tell them why the heck it's so important what this is going to give them in their life. Okay, enough yammering on about that. All right, I'm going to do one more example of what I did today using the why, what, how, now framework. So this is the lesson about how to architect your framework. I know, frameworks on frameworks on frameworks. So the now is to create a framework and use our template to do so. So the template is the deliverable. I have that. I can literally just copy paste it, like it's already done. Now, for the how, one of the easy ways to think about how is what not to do versus what to do, especially if this is a topic where you find people are making a lot of mistakes in attempting it, which frameworks, people make a lot of mistakes with their framework. So I simply was like, what not to do, don't do something that, don't choose something that doesn't accurately represent your method. Don't force stuff that's not working. Like, people will say, I really want to have the cash flow method. And they're trying to find words that fit CASHFLOW. And it's just like not working, but they really want the cash flow method and they want to use an acronym. So I find like this is a place people just really, really try and force stuff that doesn't fit because they like it. They like whatever they're trying to get to. Yeah. And then the other thing the other big mistake many people make is they assume that their framework's going to stay the same forever. And really, frameworks are iterative. Like I change my frameworks. The process that I showed you yesterday, the course flow to cash flow process, I used to not have video as its own section. I put it inside of build. And then I realized like there is a very clear demarcation between building and videoing, and I needed to make it more obvious. And so I added a step to my framework. So I think a lot of people assume that it's going to stay the same forever, and it's really not. And so putting that, um, allowing them to have that space frees them up to make decisions because they're not afraid this is a forever decision, right? And then what to do, right? This is kind of my process for how to actually do it. And then I'll walk them through examples. My what here, because remember, I build this, we build in reverse. So my what here is very clearly like just the definition of a framework and why it's important. I'm going to use some stories here of really successful people in our industry and how they use frameworks, not just in their programs, but in their business to develop authority. I think, Brandon Lucero is this really, I don't know how well known he is in all of the digital marketer circles. In mine, he's very well known. He's like the messaging guy. And his like opt-in is frameworks. And a lot of his people will say the genius of his messaging is that he has frameworks for thinking. And there's frameworks for thinking, frameworks for doing, like frameworks are this kind of higher level concept, but you can very clearly see how he's used that. And then Alex Hormozy, like everybody knows, well, not everybody, but people know Alex Hormozy. And if you just look at how his content is different than other people's content, like here's the thing, he's not teaching anything that people haven't taught before. Like all his stuff, you've heard his concepts from other people for decades. Like his business advice is not novel and new. What's novel and new is how he's packaged them and presented them using frameworks. So my why here, I'm tying into the values that my clients have, which is like they want to be seen as the go-to authority in their space. They want to be significant. They want to get their students results, but they want all that other stuff as well. And really what frameworks allow you and me and people in our industry to do is like, once you have those in place and people can get and understand what you teach so quickly, and they map you in their head as the person who teaches that, like game over, gangbusters. Alex Hormozy is known as the offers guy. That's because his first book, $100 Million Offers, was a bunch of frameworks about how to create an offer. And people were like, oh my God, I get it. People have been teaching offers forever, but his frameworks is what made it unique. So again, right, this is how I wrote these out as I went. Instead of why, what, how, now, I write them in reverse. I outline them in reverse. Okay. So those are two pretty good examples of what I did today. Now let's talk about what happens next, because from this point, once you have everything outlined, right, you've kind of got the main idea for why, what, how, now. In our agency, what we do with clients is we script everything out, like every single word. However, in this use case, for me, I am choosing not to script. I am going to have a solid outline. I'm going to have the slides I need to present to. I'm probably going to have some speaker notes about those slides, like, hey, don't forget to say this thing. But I'm not going to script every word. And here's why I can get away with that. Because really, if you're not scripting, you're kind of getting away with it, to be honest. Like that's the energy that I feel. Although I don't know how fair that is to me and to other people who don't script. I come from a teaching background. I have taught for hundreds of hours, hundreds of hours. I know it's an unconscious competence at this point. It doesn't scare me being on camera right now and talking to you and putting this on the internet. Like does not scare me. This is not a scary thing anymore. So I am confident that I can use an outline, use some speaker notes, deliver really great content while keeping it within the time window that I want to keep it in. These videos, I'm aiming for them to be 10 to 12 minutes, maybe a little less on few, maybe a little more on others, but I'm aiming to keep them in 10 to 12 minutes. I know I won't go on a ton of rabbit holes in these videos. Now, in YouTube videos, well, that's kind of what YouTube loves. But when I think about like training content, someone's coming for a result, they're coming to, get in, get out, especially like super short, snappy micro lessons. I'm very confident in my ability to do that while staying on topic and keeping within the time window. So this is like presentation skills. You have to be aware of how good your presentation skills are before you make the decision, I'm not going to script. The second thing to consider is your recording, or I'm sorry, your video editing and recording choices. So for me, because I'm confident in this, I don't know for sure because I haven't done this training in this way specifically yet, but I think I can do this with very, very minimal editing and maybe even be a one-hit wonder. Most of my experience is, hey, you're live speaking to people. You can't go back and edit what you say. For that reason, I have a lot of reps in that area. So I think it's quite easy for me to just press record, use what I have, get the thing done, and upload it. Now, with that in mind, yeah, will I flub up? Probably. But I'll just keep going because that's what I've been trained to do for so dang long. For my clients who don't have that experience on camera and who kind of get in their own head about the fact of, well, this is going to be recording, it's going to be available forever, which isn't true. You can always go re-record something you don't like. For them, they really, really struggle. And so scripting just gives them a little more ease and a little more confidence because they don't have to think about what they're going to say. They just got to practice it ahead of time and then go say it. So again, scripting comes down to a couple of things. One, your presentation skills. Are you confident in presenting without having a script to rely on? Sometimes I'd say a lot of times for our clients who've never done an online program before, it's actually a time saver to script and then have them review all their scripts because recording would take so much longer if they didn't have a script. So like one is presentation skills. And then the second thing to consider is recording and editing. If you don't have a huge editing budget, then, or you don't want to do editing at all, you want to try and be a one-hit wonder, then scripting allows you to have a better chance at that because you're not going back, re-editing, saying, oh, wait, hold on, pause, go back, say that, let me say that again. Like there's not that same issue. So, it comes down to like time and money. What option, scripting or not scripting, is going to save you the most time and work within the financial resources that you have. If you don't have any money for an editor and you've never really done this online thing, then baby girl, baby boy, baby person, go script. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be so grateful that you did when it comes time to hit that big, scary red button. So that's it. That's the magic framework. Why, what, how, now. That's some thoughts on scripting, not scripting. Thank you for watching. If you just want to skip to the end and see this dang micro course, like, girl, I just need to do my own course, then go get it below. It's free. I made this free. Yay! Kind of scary, like giving away all of our secrets and all this, but I'm choosing to trust the process because it feels right. Okay. All right. Talk soon.